It's time for another Podcast by George. Straight talk, straight from the heartland, that'll have you saying, "By George, I think he's got it." Now, here's George.
Hello, hi, how are you? Welcome on in to Podcast by George. Kind of keeping up with my theme of getting some things covered, doing some shows that I've been wanting to do and haven't been able to because of the damnable news cycle. And one of the things I always like to do, get a little hockey in there. And our hockey guy, Chad Costello, is joining us on the Podcast by George Liveline this morning from Norway. And we want to find out why he's there and some of the latest news with Chad. And it ain't all good, folks. We got to get the latest here. And I'm going to start off for people that aren't aware of Chad Costello and his relationship to the show. I'm going to read this bio. I'd like for it to be brief, but this guy's got an extensive hockey career. And so this bio is kind of the long form. But let's get going here. Chad Costello, born July 22nd, 1986. He's an American professional ice hockey player currently playing with the Stavanger Oilers in Norway. And Chad played junior hockey with the Des Moines Buccaneers, the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, where he scored 76 points to be the leading scorer in the United States Hockey League in the 05-06 season. He then attended Northeastern University, where he scored 14 goals and 21 assists for 35 points in 59 games. In 08-09, Costello played 65 games with the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the International Hockey League. Man, that's a famed franchise. In the following season, Costello signed with the Tulsa Oilers of the Central Hockey League and leading the Oilers in scoring and finishing ninth in the CHL League scoring. He was loaned to their affiliate and made his AHL debut with the Lake Erie Monsters, and he was signed to a one-year contract with the Colorado Eagles of the ECHL for the 2011-12 season, and he was leading the Eagles and the ECHL in scoring with 76 points in 47 games before he suffered a season-ending knee injury. Now, that was back on March 10th of 2012. And despite his injury, Costello finished fourth in league scoring and was selected to the first All-Star team and chosen as the ECHL's most valuable player. Well, he returned to the Eagles the following season and repeated his success, scoring 49 points in 27 games. Now, anybody that knows me or plays hockey or anything like, my God, 49 points in 27 games. So he got signed to a tryout with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers on December 18th of 2012. And in 21 games for the Sound Tigers, Costello produced 12 points, but was unable to find a constant role on the team. Well, I mean, that's the way that it reads on Wikipedia. And I mean, it's great to be on Wikipedia. That kind of tells you that you've arrived. But I looked at that season and was, what the hell? The guy's a scorer. Why don't you just give him a shot, give him some minutes? Let's see if he can score at this level. If he can't, send him back. But what's the point otherwise? Well, anyway, Chad rejoined the Eagles on March 9th of 2013. Now, in 2013, Chad returned to the CHL as a free agent. He signed a one-year contract for the inaugural season of the St. Charles Chill. And man, that always gives me a chill because that was a time of a bad injury. That was the time of the concussion that put him out for almost a year. Now, we talked about that on the earlier podcast. But then kind of the heydays for Chad started in the end of 2014. He joined the Allen Americans down there in Texas. He was the ECHL's top scorer, 125 points in 72 games. He went all the way to the Kelly Cup title, scoring 2 goals and an assist in the decisive game against the South Carolina Stingrays. And he renewed with Allen for the following season, again leading the league in scoring in the 2015-16 season, 103 points, 24 goals, 79 assists. Holy buckets. A league title down there. And, of course, I got to interject at this point. He also came from Texas to Des Moines to play in that ALS charity fundraising hockey game for my sister that was dying of ALS. He was our celebrity hockey player in that game, and I'll never forget it. And that was in the fall of 2015. Okay, so then came the jump to Europe. Now we're getting close to the to where we can talk to Chad, folks. In 2017, he signed a tryout contract with the German team Iserlohn Roosters. Before departing the Americans, Costello left as Allen's franchise leader down there in goals, assists, and points. He left the ECHL after leading the league in scoring for 3 straight seasons, back-to-back MVPs. In the 2017-18 season, he adapted quickly to the European ice, it says, posting 27 points with the Roosters. And then with the conclusion of his contract with Easterloon, he went on to success again, leading the team much of the season anyway in a young one-year deal with the Crefeld Penguin. And then on to Norway. So I was going to get back with him. I was going to talk to him this year about playing hockey in Norway. And Chad, come on in here. Welcome into Podcast by George. That's a lengthy bio, but well-deserved. I mean, you've had a hell of a career. You're in Norway. And give us the latest here. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for the intro. It made me feel a little old there, going back all those years.
Yeah.
A lot of good years. Still remember all of them and enjoyed all of them. But yeah, we're a little down on our luck right now. We came to Norway. It was kind of a crazy deal that got me here. It was think back 2-3 months ago, COVID was crazy. No one was playing any sports of any kind, especially hockey, at the minor league level. So, being a family man and doing what I had to do, I was absolutely lucky and thrilled to do it. It was to get to come to play here in Norway. It was the only league that was playing at the time. It was an opportunity that kind of my agent came to me with, and we really liked it. We thought it was going to, we didn't know if we were going to be here the full season or whether we'd make a move later on in the year. But I was dedicated to this team and signed here to win a championship here in Norway. And they have a great team, a great organization. And but to get to the bad stuff, everything was going pretty decent. I hadn't skated in a while, and I got about 10. I think I played about 10 games or so, and I took a really weird, awkward hit and did some major damage to my left knee and leg. So it kind of ended any plans or season that I will have. But hopefully the Oilers will stay successful, which they have. And I'm kind of here watching and healing up at the same time and waiting for my surgery date to come. And it's kind of a sad ending to the year for sure. But it's part of the gig, George. It is just like anything. Every job has its ups and downs, and this is definitely one of the downs for sure.
Well, this is a career. This is playing hockey for a long time, and people don't realize this, but it's kind of like professional bull riding or something. If you're going to play hockey at the level that Chad plays for as long as he's played, you're going to get hurt. It's part of the deal. But you've had more than your share, it seems like, and this one is a bad one, Chad. I don't want to get into the medical side of this, but is this the knee that you had major surgery on before?
Nope, it's the other one.
It's the other one. Is it similar, the injury, to what you had before, or entirely different?
Yeah, it's very similar, just a little worse. Of course, I couldn't believe it, but I was meeting with the surgeon. It's about a 30-minute flight to where I'm having the surgery done. I flew out there and I met with him, and he was looking at my other knee, and he said, "Who did this?" And I said, "Oh, a guy out of Colorado." He said, "Wow." And then he said, "When was this?" And I couldn't believe it. It was 10 years ago. It feels like it was feels like it was a couple years ago, but yeah. So 10 years ago, I had a surgery very similar to this. The only difference in this is like you said, the medical stuff. It's like an ACL tear and an MCL tear. The meniscus is totally gone from the bone, and the weird part was I also broke my femur, which is that big part of the leg there. So it was quite the damage, and it was such an instant play. We were winning, I think 4-0 or 3-0. And there was maybe 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. We were on a power play. They were kind of running and gunning because they didn't have much to lose. So they're trying to get a breakaway on the power play kind of thing. And puck came around the boards. I stopped it, kept it in, and actually got an assist. Didn't get the assist, but should have had an assist on the play. But forget all that. I kind of got my legs taken out from underneath me, and my left leg got stuck between his body weight in the boards, and then kind of whiplashed out, and I knew right away that I tried to get up, and then I remember that feeling. It was the doctor said, I remember the first time I did my right knee, he said, "Did you hear a pop?" And I said, "Oh, I did. It was it's a weird sensation, but there's a little pop noise, and this one, the doctor said, "Did you hear a pop?" And I said, "It's weird. I heard a pop and a crack on this one." So it kind of makes sense. You add into that cracked leg. So, but we're getting a lot better. And I went down to have surgery 2 weeks ago, and they couldn't do it. It was too swollen and too much pain, and so they moved it to the anywhere between the 10th and the 18th is what we're shooting for.
Well, the catastrophic part of it was that there were so many major injuries at once. Individually, if you look at it, now meniscus, I mean, you've been through that before. That can fix. A femur, my God, that's a major bone, like you said. But broken bones actually can heal and be set, and usually, that's kind of what you hope for. ACL,
Sure,
and that can be a really long recovery time. But can all of these things? Can they be repaired, or does anybody know at this juncture?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to try to practice next week, and then we'll see. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's going to be quite the process. I was kind of down in the dumps for a week or two, and then just came to realize that whether you play or don't play or whatever it is. The key first is to get healthy and get this knee done and be able to play with the kids, run, jump, get back to all that first, and then we'll figure out exactly what we want to do. But they think they can do it. They think, like you said, the bone, they thought that there was I don't know what you call it, but it wasn't a clean break. They thought that there were some bone fragments, and that was going to cause a problem. But actually, it's clean. It's a clear break, and it's going to heal up and be no problem. It already started. Like you said, the ligaments is the problem. In order to play, you got to be able to move quick and like jump and train and skate, all that stuff. So that's the first problem that we face is the ACL and the MCL is the major problem. But long story short, the surgeon is very comfortable with this. He's done the alpine skier, one of the best ones in the world of all time. He's from Norway. He's had ACL and knee surgery 5 times, just like this, same injury, just like this. And the same surgeon that did his is doing mine, and he's back to #1 in the world. So I'm hoping that. Obviously, I won't be #1 in the world, but hopefully I can not end this way, if you know what I mean.
Well, the first thought that I had was what you talked about, the guy in Colorado that did that earlier surgery. That was an amazing success. The recovery was very quick. I thought, my God, I wonder if he can go see that guy again. But with this type of an injury, a lot of times travel's not a possibility. Was that even something that you considered, going to that guy again?
Yeah, I did think of it because, like you said, it was they explained this as like a 9 to 12 month process, and the guy who did it in Colorado had me playing in the game less than and not just training and getting back. I was actually in a game less than 6 months after he opened my leg up. So I was like, I got to get back to Colorado and have it done. And then I found out about this guy, and he is spot on. Does the same procedures and believes in the same way that Rocky did at Colorado. So then I was very, and he even knew of him. And when I heard this story about the skier and how well of a job he did on him, and everyone told me that he's 1 or 2 in this entire country of Norway at ACL surgeries. He writes books on it. I felt comfortable, and then I met him, and I'm going with him. I think it's going to work, and I believe in him, I guess.
Well, you got to, and got fingers and toes crossed. Let's hope that it works. And this guy, this Norwegian doctor you're talking to, there's no doubt in my mind that he's seen every part of has he ever seen this collection of injury together?
He said it was pretty wicked. He said that usually when you have an ACL surgery, the ACL is like, they really concentrate on that. It's but he said with yours, it's just there's so much other stuff going on that, for instance, he thinks that he'll make his money or quote unquote with the meniscus. He thinks that the damage that I did there is, the way he described it, it's like as if someone had a little miniature bomb and placed it in your knee and it just exploded. There's fragments of ligaments and the meniscus is totally usually you can call it like a lateral tear or you can kind of, he said this, you can't even, there's no name for this. So he thinks his job will be getting that fixed, is what he said.
Now, they give you a surgery timetable for it. It sounds like this is going to be multiple surgeries, obviously. What's the timeline like?
Yeah, we, like I said, I see him again on the 8th. That's when, so originally we wanted to get surgery right away. But he said that if you get more mobility and you're able to kind of walk, I could barely walk when I saw him first time. If you're able to walk into surgery and you're in some of those smaller injuries have started to heal up, when we do the surgery, you'll have better success recovery-wise. So it seems like I'm sitting here waiting, but I think I'll get this time back on the end. I think this will speed up the recovery process. And like I said, I'm trying not to think about the hockey side too much. It's more my knees hurt and I want it fixed so I can move forward is all. That's I'll figure out everything else soon enough.
My God, you're tough. That's the other part of it everybody forgets about. Man, this shit hurts. Let me tell you, folks, I got the injury. I'm going to try to find that video and share it with folks here on the podcast, obviously. But this ain't no minor deal, and it's in a very painful area of the body besides. Well, okay, so that's the injury, the medical side of it. Let's talk about something, that I always like to talk about with you and what I intended to get at here, particularly with the holidays upon us. What's Norway like? What was the change like? What's the difference in hockey like, if anything? Just what's the Norway experience been like for you?
Sure. I'll try to go in order with landing here. I flew out here by myself. With all the quarantine stuff and COVID stuff, it was just a really different season. I couldn't even fly with my family. I had to come here and quarantine by myself for I passed the COVID test, so that took off 5 days. But about 5-6 days until I could even see the team, and they had already started the season. And like I told you, I hadn't been skating at all. So it was, I think my third skate in 5 or 6 months was a game. So it wasn't quite a training camp I'm used to, but I remember landing here and just the landscape, looking around, and I would go for walks and during quarantine and stuff like that. It's just incredible. You got this ocean and the country is so thin, and you got just these fjords that go miles into the land, and it's just something that a small town kid from Iowa is not used to. We're used to a few lakes here and there, and that's about it. This is something that I've never even dreamed of. It's still mind blowing. Sometimes I look out there and I see these huge mountain boulders sticking out of the ocean, and it's just not the landscape that I grew up with, and it's beautiful and fun to look at. And the other thing I noticed is the people here are outdoors all the time. They are, whether it's exercising, walking, they are lucky with the landscapes, and I think they know it. They are always outside, and it's a pretty peaceful place. I think it got voted one of the happiest places in the world. It's very, very expensive as well. I think the grocery store is probably double the price we're used to. It's pretty expensive, but man, it's beautiful. And then that's kind of my rundown of the country.
Well,
the other thing is,
I got to stop you there. We're flatlanders here. We're meat eaters. You like fish? Because
Yeah.
They eat fish, don't they? Mostly.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You want a steak here is really expensive, but then at the same time you get a massive piece of salmon and it's $10. It's and it's super fresh. But yeah, so everything has changed a little bit like that. with the first thing I noticed was the landscape, though. Like you said, we're used to flat green and soil. This is rock and fjords and mountains, and it's a whole different ball game. But it's pretty cool.
Well, the DEL that you were coming out of, I mean, that's one of the most highly regarded hockey leagues in the world, obviously. Norway has great hockey. I know that just from watching the Olympics. I mean, they're very competitive. All winter sports are huge in Norway, as you mentioned, with skiing and that type of thing. How did you find the level of hockey play in Norway?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I was impressed. Everyone can skate in Norway. In my opinion, maybe they're lacking in maybe size or a hockey brain a little bit, or some of the skill level here or there. But they can all skate a lot and skate fast, and they're all very athletic and in shape hockey players. Now, I think the difference between this league and the DEL would be, from top to bottom. I think I went to the game last night. We beat one of the teams. We actually played them back-to-back nights. The first game was 8-1, and last night was 8-0. In the first game, the shots were 61-12.
Jeez.
And yeah. And then last night, the shots were 50-20.
Wow.
So it was, like I said, no DEL team would do that to any other DEL team unless something crazy happened. It's just the last place team is pretty darn good in the DEL. We're here. I'm not going to say the teams are terrible or anything, because anything can happen. But some of those lower teams really struggle. And it's just makes for a different feel. Maybe you got 4 or 5 teams, 6 teams who are really competitive in this league, and Stavanger is definitely one of them. They have a really good team this year, and they always do. But in the DEL, it's like a 10, 11, 12 team deal, and then you got 1 or 2 bottom feeders.
Well, we got to go. We got to run. I mean, I appreciate you playing along and checking in with us here again, and follow your career. And again, everybody, I owe him an eternal debt for what he did for my sister in 2015 with that celebrity game, that ALS fundraiser that we had. I'll never forget it, obviously. He is my hockey hero. And, I tell people I'll promote this podcast, and folks I know what they'll say. Well, how's he doing? So, Chad, just answer that question. If, for folks back home, they say, how you doing? What would you say?
Hanging in there. Yeah. I would not say good. My family's good. We're all healthy, other than me, but we love Norway. I still love hockey. Kids are playing, and the family's great. Miss home, obviously, miss Iowa and Texas and all those people. But I've been better. These injuries are weird. When I say a broken leg, everyone's like, oh, or torn ligament, oh, that's gotta hurt. It's the pain in the brain that hurts. It's having to go to the games and watch, and you don't feel like an athlete, you don't feel like a hockey player. All those things add up to, but I've done it before, and I'll do it again. And you just gotta remind yourself of those good times and shoot for them again, and that's my plan. But to answer your question, I've been better, but I'll get there.
And I'm recording this, during the holiday break here, just before New Year's. I want to wish the best of the holiday series season and Happy New Year to the Costello clan out there in Norway. And Chad, it ain't over till it's over. I'm not going to call it over, certainly. And you keep us posted. Let us know next steps as you go through this. You've been through this trial and tribulation of these injuries before. And this is a bad one, but you've had bad ones before. So good on you, pal. And again, best wishes. Really mean it.
Yeah. Stay healthy and Happy New Year. And thanks a lot for reaching out and wanting to talk to me.
Folks, that's Chad Costello. I mean, a guy with a stellar hockey career, and now working through one of the most severe injuries of his professional career in hockey. And you've been listening to Podcast by George. I encourage everybody, if you like this, and we don't talk about hockey a lot, but we will at times. We are on the iHeartRadio app. We're on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube, of course, and a lot of people watch us on Facebook. Just go to Podcast by George, click on that little icon or badge where you'd like to follow us, and you'll get each and every episode. But that's going to do it for now. That's going to wrap it up, folks. That's all there is, and there ain't no more. That's another Podcast by George.